Today is June 18th at 5:31 p.m., and I'd like to start the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Nate, could you give us a roll call, please?
Let the record show Chair Ritter, Vice Chair Hansen, Commissioner Evers, and Commissioner Vanderoura are present, with Commissioners Quinn, Capiello, and Calmarat absent.
Thank you. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so we do have a special presentation today from Manager Norgard on the Scott Valley Park Playground Replacement Project. So I'll go ahead and pass that over to you.
Thank you, Chair Ritter. I'm here this evening to give you an update on the Scott Valley Park Playground Replacement Project. Scott Valley Park is a 2-acre neighborhood park located adjacent to Olivenhain Road and accessed from Willowhaven Road. Constructed in 1995, Scott Valley Park features a children's play area, picnic tables, basketball court, sand volleyball, and an open lawn. The playground equipment is original to the park and has reached the end of its service life and is due for replacement. Our budget is $350,000 and is comprised of private donations, grants, and the Park Improvement Fund. The Parks Recreation and Cultural Arts Department was approached by Emily Jones to add play equipment for users of all abilities so that special needs and able-bodied children could play together. The idea was a great fit for Scott Valley Park as the play equipment was already scheduled for replacement. This project will feature play equipment for users of all abilities and ages to come together and play. You can see on this slide, kind of working from the top to the bottom, there's the basketball court, the open lawn area, the volleyball, and the playground, just to get you oriented. This is a view of the playground equipment to the left and the volleyball to the right. The basketball court's just off the frame to the right. Another closer view of the playground equipment installed in 1995. This is fairly typical of equipment from that time period with an all-in-one approach. You have an elevated deck, multiple slides, and monkey bars all in one large piece of equipment. And this is a rendering of the replacement equipment and the layout that features multiple elements designed for children and adults of all abilities. The elements were selected after discussions with Emily, who was our donor, and our design consultant to create an inclusive multi-generational play area. In the foreground, we have a dual platform tower feature with a lower level that is accessible from a ramp, stairs, and climbers. To the right, we have an accessible spinner that is flush with the play surface so that wheelchairs and mobility devices can roll onto the platform. Behind the spinner, you can see a 4-way seesaw. The seats are designed with high backs and grab bars to promote inclusion, and the center area is designed for easy transfer from a mobility device. The 4-way design promotes more users to play together. In the background, we have a swing set that is also accessible and multi-generational. There are 2 typical belt swings, a mommy and me swing that is designed for a child in one seat and a parent or caregiver in the facing seat. This is another great multi-generational element that gives users a chance to see each other's expressions, teaches cooperation and sharing. The last swing is a similar design with an inclusive bucket seat. This is another view of the tower feature. You can see the lower slide that is part of the lower platform accessible from the ramp. The upper deck includes a slide and a shade covering. There is also sensory panels and a spin wheel and drums for a variety of experiences. And this is a playhouse in a separate tot area for the 2 to 5-year-old age range. Playhouses also encourage some of the older kids to discover and imagine, so we get some of the cross-age benefits of socialization in a low-impact area. This area also has additional musical notes, drums, and sensory panels. In addition to the play equipment, the project will include a seating area designed for children and adults to come together in a separate space where everyone feels comfortable. We have colorful benches and chairs of different shapes and sizes with a custom wheelchair seat. The quote on the wheelchair says, "Life is better when we play together." The concrete includes a mosaic of colorful tiles and coins as an homage to the community donations that helped fund the project. Our next steps for the project are to bid and award the contract. So the project will go out to bid in the next few days. We anticipate the bid closing on July 18th. We'll then take the project back to council to authorize the contract, and we anticipate construction lasting from September through November and with grand opening in December. I'm available for any questions. That concludes my presentation.
Any questions from the commission? I'll come over here.
I was just wondering how much use this park gets.
It's a neighborhood park like most of our parks, and it's kind of tucked away in that neighborhood, but we do have a pretty strong user group there. It's a pretty cool little park. We get a lot of use in the open lawn area. I think the playground would get more use if it were updated. But because it's older, we spend a lot on maintenance on it, and it just doesn't really have a lot of the modern amenities that you'd see.
I remember when I checked out that park a year or two ago, there were some very, very basic fitness equipment that was there. Is that being pulled out for the playground replacement?
It is, and where those are located is where that top house will be.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see an emphasis on the inclusive equipment added to our parks. I know that we have, in various parks, we have bits and pieces of some inclusive equipment, but here it really seems to definitely be the majority of the equipment is for inclusive play. So I think that's fantastic. I think it's also really exciting that we got such strong community involvement and community investment through private donations for it. Any other comments, questions? All right, fantastic. Let's move on to the next agenda item. Nate, do we have any oral communications for tonight?
There are no oral communications,
All right, thank you so much. Changes to the agenda?
and there are no changes to the posted agenda.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 7, approval of the minutes from the May 21st regular meeting minutes. If we take a look at that, all commissioners were present and would be available to vote on this. Do I have a motion to approve
I'll approve.
and a second?
I'll second.
The motion passes.
All right, fantastic. Moving on to number 8, which is our action items. So on June 12th, the work plan item for our commission was given to the city council for review on their consent. And there were Mayor Krantz and Councilmember Ehrlers polled it for some discussion, and they've went ahead and approved it with a change to item number 6. And on that particular item, if you look at the work plan item number 6, the last sentence was added by Mayor Krantz. It reads, "Commissioners will also investigate removing the tennis pickleball court and Moonlight Beach and replacing it with the court at Cottonwood Creek." So this is an addition to what we had already written. So this is a council-directed addition to our work plan item. There's also some interest in having the commission look at possible uses of Surfer Point. This was recommended by Councilmember Ehlers, but Mayor Krantz had suggested that we'd first kind of want to work with a
go to a workshop, to invite the public to provide some feedback, perhaps get the Environmental Commission involved as well as the Parks and Rec and our department. And it might be something that may be assigned to us in the future. So even though it may not be on the work plan now, the council at their discretion can always add additional items to our work plan if they'd like us to look into things. So that's something that might come a little further down the road. If you're interested in looking at the June 11 City Council meeting, we were on item 8E, and approximately at time of 44 minutes is when this discussion took place, and it ended around 50 minutes. So if you want to just pop on the web to take a look at what that discussion was, those 6 minutes or so describe what was discussed. Moving to the first item on the work plan then. It's the Parks and Recreation staff's conducting annual tours for the commission. I know that there has been some discussion that perhaps August 8th would be an opportunity to do our recreation tour. Do you have any other information on that, Manager Hammer?
Manager Hamer here. The Pacific View Art Center will be hosting a public open house, and we thought it would be the ideal time to incorporate the Parks and Recreation Commissioner tour to facilitate that we also go to the Pacific View Art Center. There was some interest expressed. So looking at those dates, August 8th popped out because that could possibly be the same date that we are planning for our bylaws workshop. And that way it would be one day for both things. If commission felt that was too much, we could explore some different dates, but I know we want to go when the public open house is there, and aligning with the same day of the workshop might be more advantageous for commission to just save one date versus 2 or 3 dates in August.
And so were you thinking it would be something like start in late morning, do lunch, and then recess after that?
Yes, it would be
Okay.
very similar to how it's been managed in years past, where we start on the beach, we work around to the community center, and we'd probably do the Pacific View Art Center after the beach because it's just down the street, and then up to the community center, and then down to some parks and Scout House.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll go ahead and tentatively put that on the schedule. Everyone feel pretty good about that on their schedules? And then does the ad hoc, or perhaps Manager Norgard, do you have any tentative dates for the parks tour?
Right now, we're thinking September for the Parks Tour. We haven't nailed down a date yet, and I'd like to work with the ad hoc to work through some potential topics and stops.
Great. Does, let's see, we have a couple ad hoc members here. Does any of the ad hoc have any additional comments that they'd like to make? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to work plan item number 2 regarding attending city-sponsored events. I would like to thank Commissioner Evers for joining me to volunteer at EcoFest. We were there helping out with the setup, and it was an amazing venue there at Fox Point Farms on June 2nd. And I was happy to see that it was the first event where she could actually show up in her Parks and Recreation Commission shirt. So she looked very official this last time, so that's great. Since everyone on that specific ad hoc is not here, I figured I would just kind of discuss a couple upcoming opportunities for commissioners to volunteer, not only this month, but also next month, considering that we're going to be dark in July. So just looking forward up to our next meeting date, which is August 20th, I noticed that the volunteer software was listing that we still are looking for volunteers for the walking group on Wednesdays. So if that's something that might be of interest, I think it starts at 8:45 in the morning and goes to about 10. They meet at the Oak Crest Park. Is that correct, or at the community center?
Right now, they do meet at different sites. The program has picked up quite a bit, and sometimes they'll meet on the rail trail, and they have different locations. So if there is interest, I would encourage you to reach out to Amy, Supervisor Ustes, and I can give you that email. In fact, I'll email all of you about the August 8th for the schedule for the recreation tour, and then I can share the information on the walking club if you're interested.
And then how does that normally work? Is there a lead? So Amy's the lead that kind of coordinates that and decides where the walking group's going to go? Or?
She is the lead supervisor that oversees the program, but we do have a lead volunteer. And I know she's not in the software. She is in the software, but we need to assign her in that point of contact. So it's a lead volunteer who makes that decision and sets the schedule with the group that is registered to participate.
So this is something that happens every Wednesday. It's not like it's a long-term commitment. If it's an opportunity to perhaps just get out and walk, it's also a very social event. So the idea is to socialize with the people there as well as just enjoying a nice walk. So I think I'm definitely going to give that a try at some point. So. We also have the Sustainable Solutions Fair coming up on June 22nd. I didn't notice that there was anything in the software program that is asking for volunteers for that. We're just supporting that as a city, but nothing that our department is doing specifically for the event.
Correct. We don't have an outreach booth at that event or staffing to help support that.
Okay. Next up, we have Art Night on June 29th, and they have shifts from 5 to 7 and 7 to 8:15. If you haven't been to Art Night, I really recommend it. And there are opportunities to be there at the Encinitas Library, and then I guess also around town probably as well. So definitely recommend that as another opportunity. We also have our Moonlight Beach concert series coming up in July 14th and August 11th before our next commission meeting. There are shifts available for parking assistance in the information booth, and they're pretty short shifts, so it's not a huge commitment. They have a 9 to 11:30, 11:30 to 2, 12 to 2:30, and a 2:30 to 5. So that's fun because you can volunteer and enjoy some great music at the same time. Then the last thing that we have listed in the software is the Cardiff Dog Days, which is on July 21st. That's going to be held again at ECP. And that we have shifts there from 9 to 11, 11 to 1, and 1 to 3:30. And you can sign up again on the software. Or also Cardiff 101 Main Street, you can work with them directly. So I know John and I are going to be doing the dog contest, so that's always a fun thing to do. All right, fantastic. So any other comments or suggestions on that particular item?
What was the date on the dog days again?
That's July 21st.
Manager Hamer here, if I could just add, we don't have it in the software yet, but they are looking for volunteers for the Pacific View Public Open House. So that'll be, I believe it's going to be August 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th with 2 shifts. But that will be added to the software, and I will definitely share that information with you as well. And you're not allowed to do it August 8th because we'll be the guests.
Thank you. All right, fantastic. Let's move on to work plan item number 3, identifying guest speakers for the monthly meeting. I did speak with Camille Swansky from BCK Programs. They presented to the commission last year. Their students actually made a presentation on ecology and sustainability, and other topics in that vein. So she was really excited about the opportunity of having another group of students, or even students that had presented before, to come again and present to us. I think it's a great opportunity for the students to provide information that they've learned from the class, as well as get some public speaking engagement. We were looking at possibly maybe doing that in September, October timeframe. Does anyone else from that ad hoc have any other speakers that they're reaching out to regarding anything we might consider?
I don't yet, but do we have August open?
Yes. Okay, great, thank you. Moving on to item 4, volunteer promotion and recruitment. Commissioner Hanson, do you have anything you'd like to speak to about that?
Not a thing.
Manager Nargard, or I'm sorry, Manager Hamer, do you have anything?
A simple update would be that we are going to be reaching out to current volunteers. Those have been less active, to check in on them and see if they're okay with the software. We're thinking that some people are being shy about logging back in and maybe not able to navigate. So we're going to be making voice contact with them, checking in with them, see if how they can fill out, and if they're not interested anymore, possibly archiving them, because we currently have 215 today. I got another new one today. So we just want to make sure everybody's active and engaged, and that will be our next step of working with the current lot that we have.
All right, great. Well, thank you for that information. Moving on to number 5, research and planning for outdoor adult fitness equipment. As an update that I can provide, I did work with Manager Norgard and helping him with an equipment list that I recommended for specific pieces for the Glen Park fitness area, and he's gone ahead and forwarded that information to the program manager. This is actually a program that we're not necessarily doing completely on our own. There's actually through planning, through
The engineering department are the
Engineering.
project managers?
Okay. So, so our next step on that is to schedule a CPP meeting or a workshop to get some community input on all the parks, and the playground equipment that is going to be replaced or scheduled to be replaced is Wiro in Liebenhain and also in Orpheus Park. And then we're also looking to upgrade Glen Park as well, if we can get that done. So we're hoping that all 3 of them will kind of happen near the same time, and we'll get the public outreach part of it done, and looking to do that within the next 1 or 2 months. We're also working on establishing a SANDAG contact to consider fitness equipment on the CRT extension. Do you have any additional information on that?
Yeah, as an update on that, I did have a quick call with one of the project managers at Sandag, kind of let them know what we were looking at. He's going to go back and look at the project plans and see if there's anything that might fit, and then we'll do a share screen and kind of walk through some of that stuff. So I should have an update likely in August. I know he's going out of the office for a couple weeks, so we're dark in July. Hopefully have more information in August.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Any other commissioners have any other questions or comments on that work plan item? All right, we're on page 2. So number 6, review and monitor tennis courts and pickleball court use in the city parks. We have already addressed the change that City Council has added to this particular work plan item. Is there anything that the ad hoc would like to add?
So what are we doing with Moonlight Beach?
When council adopted the work plan, they gave additional direction for the commission to investigate removing the tennis court from the Moonlight Beach parcel and replacing it with one at Cottonwood Creek. So essentially investigate the feasibility of that. What does the community think? Is there space at Cottonwood? In addition to that, I anticipate that I will be able to present the feasibility study for ECP to the commission in August, and I can work with the ad hoc on that as well. So it may be worth thinking about all of these things together. If the tennis court at Moonlight Beach was removed and that was restored to a more riparian wetland habitat, looking at Cottonwood Creek as a potential relocation area or offsetting it with something at ECP based on the results of the feasibility study. So again, I'll present that to the full commission in August for discussion and under the work plan and the ad hoc as well.
And then would you also be presenting it to City Council in August as well?
We'll go to City Council to present it shortly after the Park and Rec Commission, yes.
Okay. The mayor was also interested with regards to taking that area of land that the current tennis court sits on and revert it back to wetland. So that area is really a wetlands area, and it's used by Cottonwood Creek to filter the water before it ends up going out into the ocean. So I think that was one of his primary drivers to move it, but he doesn't want to obviously make our city have even less pickleball courts or tennis courts. So that's why he wanted us to look into the feasibility of also adding or converting courts that we have at Cottonwood into tennis or pickleball.
And I think some of that work can start now, doesn't necessarily have to wait for the feasibility study. We'll also work with the ad hoc soon to revamp the conversation around changing the pickleball rules. So I'm briefing the director now on what the proposed rules have been and what some of the outcomes could be. And then I anticipate bringing that back to the ad hoc for discussion and input and then possible direction.
Any other questions or comments on that particular work plan item? Moving on to number 7, pop-up parks at city events. I don't think there's really anything to add or to move forward on in the short term on this particular work plan item. We had a huge success with having the pop-up park at Cyclovia. We will probably look at doing things like adding cornhole to do community engagement when we have other tents that we have staff at. So perhaps Cardiff Dog Days of Summer might be a good opportunity depending upon where we're located in their exhibition area. So, but yeah, that might be a good thing to consider. So any other comments from the ad hoc on that work plan item? All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing on the next work plan item, number 8, for the Trails Master Plan. I know that that Commissioner Vanderweer had actually met with Encinitas Trails Coalition along with park staff, and she was going to give us a little report on how that meeting went.
Thanks, Chair Ritter. I did attend the Trails meeting with Commissioner Capilio. In attendance for staff was also Bob Keeley and Esteban Dana, and the Trails Coalition members Linda Martin, Doug Goad, and Diana Wilder. Bob discussed a new trail along Encinitas Creek that will connect the Carlsbad Trail, the City of Carlsbad Trail, to our trail along the Encinitas Creek, and that one further continues to Scott Valley Park. So those two will connect. So from Carlsbad, you'll be able to go through and go all the way to Scott Valley Park. So that'll be a good connection. It'll also make a loop. So that's also interesting for walkers. And there's also going to be another trail to exit at Olivenhain Road there. And this is all going to be at a new development. It's an Encinitas facility called Carefield Living, a senior assisted living center and memory care facility. And they're going to keep the original barn that is there, and they'll keep horses there for memory care therapy. So that'll be a really nice new facility there. So I do have kind of a map, but only one, and it's not digital. So I can just kind of send this down. So here's the creek, the trail becoming Carlsbad through there, and then the trail out to Encinitas, or Olivenhain Road. So that's kind of cool. And then also here's the meeting agenda if you want to look at any of those. Also, there's just a couple of maintenance things they're working on at Fortuna Ranch Road. We're going to have an asphalt contractor, and they're putting in 2 new trail crossings at driveways. Rancho Santa Fe Road, there's a grant for fencing. Construction is predicted from July to September. It's going to be from Lone Jack Road up to 13th. There's a CIP item Trail 82 that's awaiting funding. At Rancho Summit, it needs some work on some weeds and grading, and they're going to try to move the trail because of a guide wire obstruction. And also would encourage anyone who wants to report trail issues to use the Encinitas app and report it there. So if you're out and about, and that's it.
The app that you're talking about, is it Outer Spatial or the Encinitas app?
The Encinitas app.
Okay, great. And then the new trail that that's going to go in, is that funded through the development fees of this new facility?
The developer is conditioned to build it as a part of their development, so they will fund it fully.
Even better. Thank you very much for that report. Any questions or comments? Fantastic. Let's move on to number 9 regarding the Harbaugh Seaside Parkway development in Cardiff. I would like to thank Commissioner Hanson for stepping up. Is working with the Cardiff by the Sea Foundation and helping them do some bookkeeping, getting their nonprofit status all caught up, and I think that will be of great assistance to him. So I know that you've done that for about 4 other nonprofits. Yes. So you're a man of experience on that. So I know that they're excited about your involvement. So thank you. Other than that, I don't really have any other items to report on that particular work plan item. That leads us to support of Friends of Encinitas Parks. Vice Chair Hanson, would you like to give us an update on that?
Surprised me there. Surprises aren't good. We met with the Encinitas Rail Trail Commission, a member there, and talked about maybe joining forces on some things. We're recruiting board members currently. And for now, I think that's about all I can throw out there. But it's moving, which is nice. Thank you. Thanks for your help.
I would also say, too, and I did mention this to Manager Norgard, but also for Manager Hamer as well, that as a nonprofit, we could be a great resource for applying for any grants that, as a city or a municipality, that you would not qualify for. So certainly keep us in mind that in the event that there are grants out there that you can apply for, that could be applied through Friends of Encinitas Parks. Any questions or comments? All right, moving on to the last work plan item, update bylaws for the Parks and Recreation Commission. So August 8th is a date that has been thrown out for the Senior Arts and Parks and Recreation Commission to participate in a open meeting, so it's actually going to be recorded. It does not need to just be the ad hoc, so anyone on the commission is certainly welcome to attend that August 8th meeting, and there'll be more details on that forthcoming. But as a group, between those three commissions, we'll work on finalizing our new bylaws. In the meantime, I think it's a great opportunity to go ahead and read at least the 5 pages of bylaws that we received from Manager Norgard, just to get ourselves familiar with it, and then be ready for that meeting when it comes up. Again, we won't be meeting again until August 20th as a commission meeting, so this would be something that's going to happen between now and our next commission meeting. So as we kind of think about what is coming up, I think it's good to just keep in mind that even though we're not meeting next month, we can certainly be working on our ad hocs and getting some of the work moving forward on our work plan. We have a pretty ambitious work plan this year, and I'm excited to jump into it, as I'm sure you are as well. And certainly rely on staff. They're here to help us in that as well. But with that, I think we've pretty well gone through the work plan. Anything from staff with regards to anything else that we would need to consider for the work plan at this point? Okay, great. All right, moving on to number 9, informational items. Manager Norgard, if you could give us the park operations report.
Sure thing. A light operations report today. It's summer, so we're in full swing for all of our maintenance activities. We recently reopened the dog park. Beacons Beach recently reopened as well. At the June 12th council meeting, we brought forth a couple items. One, we amended the Excel contract to include future maintenance at the Pacific View Arts Center. And we also included some services for marine safety and the coastal zone administrator under the planning division to do some sand movement at Moonlight Beach. This is something that has taken place every year but was done by a different contractor who's no longer performing those services. And they will also move the lifeguard towers annually. So in the summer, the lifeguards deploy those out to the beaches, and in the fall and winter, they bring them back in. So Excel can perform those services now. And we also amended the contract with the San Diego Botanic Garden for the Habitat Stewardship Program. We added $50,000 to that contract, and that adds new services at the Oakcrest Park. We will also continue service at the Moonlight Beach parcel and some maintenance activities at the Cottonwood Creek unimproved area. So this will be our third area in the Habitat Stewardship Program. And we developed that scope in conjunction with Recon Environmental, who we hired to be an as-needed project manager on the Habitat Stewardship Program. So that work will begin relatively soon. There's not a lot to do during the dry season. There will be some weeding probably once a month, and then as we get into the wet season, we'll get into kind of more intense activities at those sites. So that's it for the operations report today.
And any reports with regards to how Beacons is doing now that it's open? I was there a few days ago, and it looked like everything looked fine, but I'm just curious if you've heard anything with regards to any movement of the soil?
Nope, I haven't heard anything with regard to any movement out there. It's been super busy, and the surf's been fun, so everything's working.
Good. Any comments or questions on the parks operation report? All right, let's move on to recreational services.
Manager Hamer here. Chair Ross took a lot of my thunder with my list of all the different activities coming up, so you have the majority of them. Another new one that's happening this Friday at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center is an Aloha dance party, and it's a new sort of format for the monthly dances. Instead of just a dance, it's learning how to do different types of dances and kind of a move and mingle type of activity. It's from 2 to 4 p.m., and we're really encouraging adults 50 plus, single or with somebody, to come and join us and have some fun. And will be new and should be a great time. Another program that's for adults 55 plus is e-bike safety classes. This is working with our previous special event supervisor, Nick Buck. And they're free. There's one this Saturday at the community center from 9 to 12 p.m., and they have very low enrollment. And we know as adults, we think we all are great bicycle riders because we learned as a child. But this is for e-bikes that are much faster and can be more dangerous. So I just wanted to put a shout out for that. Most important, though, is that July will be National Parks and Recreation Month. And next week on June 26th, we'll be having our annual proclamation by the mayor here at our city council meeting. And we invite all commissioners to join us if you would like. It's at 6 p.m. And that will be kind of our kickoff to the month. And then we're working with our special projects supervisor, Nicole White, to have kind of a posting each day on social media, either in stories and then a weekly post, to really showcase the importance of parks and recreation throughout the country and throughout the year, July being our most important year because of the hot season, the impact of kids out of school, and everybody out to enjoy the great weather. So that's coming next month. Last but not least, we're also closing out our fiscal year. So fiscal year 24 ends on June 30th, and we start a new fiscal year 25 on July 1st. And I just wanted to report that participation in all our programs increased 12% in 24 over 23, and revenue increased 9%. So it's great to see continuous growth and expansion, and that will grow even more when we open the Pacific View Arts Center, and arts continues to be an important factor in programming. Thank you.
Could you just speak to the grand opening a bit of the Pacific View Arts Center? Just kind of go over, I know it's in mid-August.
To be honest, that's not a project I'm overseeing. It is the arts division, and I can make sure that we receive that information from that arts team so that you have those details. I'm sure you will be invited. I don't know even. They have some limitations because of the amount of people that can be in the rooms in the space. So I'm not even aware of the list.
Okay.
But it is like a ribbon cutting. I believe it's August 6th. And David may have more details than I have, but it's being overseen by the events and arts team. So it's still to be announced.
And then the programming, again, I know it's in the arts division. Is it getting published in the Parks and Rec guide for that period? I mean, does the guide come out before August to sign up?
Excellent question. And actually, if you look at the summer guide right now, October and August 13th, there's some Pacific View arts classes listed in the summer guide. But absolutely, the fall guide is actually going to be dedicated primarily to the Pacific View Arts Center. It'll be featured on the cover. They'll have extra pages, and there'll be more details. And that will come out before the grand opening. So it'll be the Saturday, I don't have that exact date in front of me, but the Saturday before the ribbon cutting on August 6th. So a very exciting, great timing, and hopefully a lot of buzz and anticipation and excitement when the center officially opens.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. I am looking forward to taking some class myself at some point. All right, so thank you very much for those two reports. Nate, do we have anything on items number 10 or 11? All right, moving on to the commission roundtable, starting at the very end. Would you like to go ahead and lead us?
Thanks, Chair Ritter. I did recently graduate from the Encinitas Academy.
Woohoo!
So I would highly recommend anyone, resident or commissioner, to sign up for that. You learn all about the city departments, and they give really great presentations.
And Commissioner Evers?
No updates for me. Thank you, though.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Hansen?
seems like there's a whole lot, and it doesn't feel like anything happened the last month. It's just a weird feeling, but it's great to be together. Thank you guys for all you do. And I just want to observe on beacons how incredible it is. It's a little subcommittee or community within Leucadia. And when it was fenced up, nobody was there. The day the fence came down, it's crowded and crowded and crowded. So definitely one of the jewels of Encinitas. And thanks whatever you did to get it open as quickly as you did.
Thank you. And I only have just a couple things. First of all, I just wanted to say that you stole my thunder on the bike safety classes for over 55. So you got me back. I think there is a $10 charge for Encinitas residents, though. I think maybe it's being waived. I don't know.
It may be that on completion you get the money back. I don't
that
know
could be.
exactly. I know that they do the $10 just for the commitment, but I think after completion you receive it back.
Okay. Great. I heard that the first class was really quite popular. That happened last weekend, so hopefully we'll get some attendees in the next one. I did post it on the Facebook group for Cardiff that I admin, so hopefully we'll get some additional people. I did want to congratulate Commissioner Van Aura on her Encinitas Academy graduation, and I saw the photos on Instagram, and it looked like the cake was delicious too. Again, I wanted to thank Commissioner Evers for joining me at the volunteer opportunity there at EcoFest. We have lots of opportunities to volunteer over the next couple of months, and I certainly hope that the commissioners will take an opportunity to get out there and be good ambassadors for the commission, and also spending some time together. It'd be great to see you. With that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:16 p.m. Thank you.